Hey guys, I wanted to go over the Spade point models, including the new Rhino that we have. This is the Scout. It's the smallest Spade point. This is a trowel tool that we make. It's not a knife. It's made to do everything you don't want to use your knife for. So here's the Scout. Its bigger brother, the Ranger. Pretty much the same thing, just longer. Can baton wider logs, stuff like that. Full-size model, more of a compact model. And then after that we have the Rhino. Now the Rhino is the same length as the Ranger, but has a lot of added features to it, such as the bayonet holes, the measurements on there, as you can see. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up to the bayonet holes will be 5 inches deep. So for gardeners and stuff like that, it's a really nice little added feature. We also have a false edge on this side here, just to help with penetrating the ground when the Ranger does not have that. Hey guys, so one of the neat features on the new Rhino is these bayonet holes. Now the bayonet holes allow you to secure this easily onto a pole. So there are different ways of securing it. Here for the more urban setting, we have zip ties and conduit, like that. And the holes just make it really quick to line up that first one there. Then you can then secure the other ones on there. Now the holes will also accept screws. So if you had a little bit of a wider board that you could use as a pole, you could screw it directly onto that. And then the third way of connecting it would be to use the paracord that's on the handle, or more paracord, and lace it on there. So this is one of those options. You kind of have to use what's around you. So this isn't a survival situation. This wasn't meant to be permanently mounted on anything. That's not how I designed it, really. I designed it for if a just-in-case survival situation. It just is another multi-purpose feature of this tool. So use what's around you. If it's a stick, if it's a chair leg, whatever it is. This is a nice defense weapon. I didn't really design it to be a throwing spear, because I don't really like the idea of throwing your tool. You might lose it. So I would use it as a defensive weapon, if you want to call it that. Or if you're foraging and there's something up high, you can use it for that too. And that's why I call it a bayonet holes instead of a spear or something like that, to use it more of like a bayonet style than a spear that you're going to throw and chuck and then lose it in the woods somewhere. So that's the whole idea behind the bayonet holes. So the Rhino is a spade tool. It's really good for digging holes. So if you're gardening, metal detecting, real nice to dig holes with. You can chop out roots with it too. And you get these measurements on here, so you can tell how far in you're digging. So if you have to plant something, you'll know what level you're at and how deep to go. This Florida soil has a layer of roots on top. Once you break those away, you can lift that out. It's much more softer down here. You can also use it to bang in tent stakes. So you can use the back of it here. The edge doesn't go all the way down, so that you can use the back of the tool or the spine of the tool to sink in tent stakes. You can also use it to baton wood. So because that false edge stops here on the tip, well, it's pretty hot out here now. It's one of those 100-degree Florida days and it's humid. And I've thrown this thing against a tree maybe 50 times now, just to see if there's any damage. Perfectly straight, no curling on the end or anything. So for short distance spear throwing. It exceeded my expectations. I really enjoyed it, had a lot of fun. Like I said, they are bayonet holes. This was mainly meant to be a defensive weapon or for foraging purposes, stuff like that. You get a lot more leverage when the tool is on a pole. Do I recommend launching it into the woods? Yeah, if you're in a closed environment that you know you can get it so you don't lose it. That's what any survival knife, I think, that has those holes in there. You know, there's a lot of nice military style knives that use them, from Ontario, Gerber, and I never recommended really launching one and risk either breaking it or losing it. So if this is an expendable tool, it's an extra one, then certainly whatever the survival situation calls for. But I hope that you enjoyed this video, and that's a little bit more about the Rhino. They are available on RoganUSA.com. Thanks, guys.